Top of the morning to you. I hope you're all fine and dandy and staying ahead of the game. Remember, it is a game and each one of us must play our part. Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to look at the law, the police, the policy enforcers, and the level of the law and what the bar is. The bar is the legal system, the British Accredited Society of Law. And the bar is the four inns of the Temple Bar, London, where all law is manifest. But why does all law, the legal maritime law, why does all law manifest from the bar and the four inns in London? Well, if you're familiar with my pages, my posts, my videos, you'll know that this is in relation to the Spine of Albion. And the Spine of Albion runs directly through Britain, touching on 33 sacred points, with standing stones, mounds, and so on. But this Spine of Albion is also represented as the Great Eridanus, or the Great Tree of Heaven, and the Ark of Heaven. And what we're going to look at today is the law, and the bar, and the level, and what does it mean to be on the level? What do these secret societies and others that claim rulership or dominion over us, what do they know and what are they hiding? And can we see things set up in the land? So this is what we're going to look at today. I have been studying standing stones and ley lines for over 30 odd years now. I suppose I first began or took an interest when I was in my early teens. By the time I was 12, I was mapping parts of Aberdeenshire where I grew, mapping the heavens above with the standing stones and stone circles and various brocks and towers and castles at a young age. And I've always had an interest in the stars. And so I'm going to just use this. We're going to go through this today quite slowly. I study quite a lot, including languages, history, ancient texts, Babylonian texts, Sumerian, Akkadian, the Gilgamesh stories, and all the stories are the stories of the heavens. This is the conclusion I came to after 40 odd years, but not only are the stories that we read of in these epics and tales and great holy books, but these are the stories in the heavens over Scotland and Britain. And if you are familiar with my pages, my posts, you know, and other people who are aware of this, that the word Brit, as in Britain, Britannia, is Anna, the Ina, or the god of heaven, or Nut, who is the Egyptian goddess, and it represents Nana and Ina. Nut represents the milk of the Milky Way, or the flow of the Milky Way, the white flow, and it's believed that all the gods and all of creation came from that spillage, that tear, the great rift in the Milky Way. And what is manifest from the Milky Way is the houses and the planets that we know today as they move through what we call the ecliptic, and that is transposed over Britain in three areas. So you have Lower Egypt, or Lower Britain, which London is Lower Egypt, the Lower Nile Delta. Middle England, so the Thames, Lower England, the Thames would be the Lower Nile Delta. Humber, so you've got Hull and Grimsby, it's in the names. Hull, the hull of a ship. Grimsby, when the ship goes down, you better be ready. But Grimsby is the second tree of life, or the second river of life, sorry. So the Thames is the lower river, to the lower world. The Hull is this in-between worlds, and the third heaven is the fourth, and the Clyde estuary, which is this area or this portion of the sky that I'm looking at here in the heavens. If we were standing anywhere in Scotland looking north to navigate the high seas, because our ancestors always looked north to the Great North Star and Polaris, which is just down here below the horizon, and this allowed us, or our ancestors, to navigate the high waters and circumvent the the poles, and that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at the poles, between the poles. So this is the bar, or the level of heaven, and if you were a Mason, this would be the bar, and the bar is basically, if I take this level away, this is the level, to be on the level, and the word level is Levi, or priest, Levi, Lev-El. So if I take this ground away, you will see below the level the ark, which is citizenship. You'll see the Eridanus, the great river of Hades that takes you down into the blackness of the underworld. So if I put the land back again, you see this is Black Slaw, everything below the bar. Yeah, is everybody getting that? This is Black Slaw. So what do I mean by that? Well, in Masonry and all the esoteric, in all the cultures and all the practices, Egyptian, Greek, Mesopotamian, Babylonian, Scorpio was the tree of life, Libra was the scales that you stood before to be weighed, red feather, blue feather, Virgo was where you pass through to be born again, born a virgin, maritime, she holds the speaker, the spiker, which is the bitter herbs. Leo is the lion, you've got to be the conquering lion, you've got to go through Cancer, and Libra and Cancer are the first two pillars of Masonry, and you have to, this is the journey of the sun, by the way, and you have to go through, pick up Monoceros. I've done other posts on this, through the land of Canaan. This is the land of Canaan, the land of dogs, avoiding the snakes and the vipers, and you make your way through into Taurus, which sits over Glasgow, and Stirlingshire, into the Pleiades, and then eventually into Aries, through the Triangulum, up through Andromeda, up through the Iron Throne of Osiris, Cassiopeia, into the House of Cephas, which is in Aberdeenshire, up to the third cross, which is Cygnus the Swan, and over, avoiding the Draco, over into Polaris, to the Great Bear, Arthur, our Father who art in heaven, back home again. And the area that we're going to look at today is the bar, the level, and everything that's lost at sea below the bar. So is Black Slaw. So here is the level, here is the bar, and here's the Great Bear, the great our Father who is the bar. And the reason why the Pole Star and Polaris and Arthur, these are called the indestructible stars, because they never change their course. They continue to move and can always be seen above the horizon, giving us a level so that we can avoid the flood of the high seas or the maritime treason that we're all under. But I'm going to take it a little bit further. Most people are aware of my research and the fact that I have discovered that this here is the level and the great river of life that takes you to the right hemisphere of God, to Aries, the Lamb of God, and these are all parts of the anatomy of the brain as well. This is all part of the amygdala of the brain. These constellations, the histories, the mythologies, and the stories that we have are all parts of the human inverted brackets of the human anatomy. And Scotland itself is the head, and this is the part of the mouth, the throat, the neck, and this is the upper part of the head. So this is just an introduction to the heavens, basically what we call the bar. and everything below the bar. I have done a number of posts on it, I have done a number of talks on this, but it's a vast subject and it's quite difficult for people to get their head around. So in summertime we're looking north, and all time is calculated from Greenwich Mean Time. No matter where you are in the world, it's calculated from Greenwich Mean Time, which is from the pole star. And the reason why is because the pole star keeps time. It always is. Everything is this is the indestructible stars, the imperishable stars that never change. This is the arc of heaven, the ark that Noah and all the animals were in. And yeah, the authorities and those in power know that. And I'm going to show you that today, because I'm going to take you down to an area that I have walked and camped for numerous years on and off. And I have taken the time to study these areas which were once ancient waterways. Now, this line here, I'll speak about this line here in a moment. I'll give you a quick glance of what the line is so that there's no mystery here. This is Kincardine Police College, and it's Tullyallan Castle. And Tullyallan Castle is some building. Let's just have a little, there must be pictures. Let's have a little picture. Is there something? Yeah, look at that building. Now, if you're familiar with my work, which you should be by now if you're watching this, my other stuff and things that I talk about, I talk quite a lot about mud floods, and we can see here that this is a mud flood property. We're told it was built in the, I think it was the 18th century, maybe it was built in the 1700s, I can't remember. I have read about it just recently, but these are towers that pull down electricity, and this here was a large salt pan. And if you go onto the Tullyallan Wikipedia page, I'm not going to do that now, it actually tells you that all this here, this area here, was a moat. This area was all underwater, and at one time, the Firth of Forth actually came into the Tullyallan Castle estate, which is a fair distance. It's a good few miles inland. But today I'm going to show you where the waterway came in, and a few other things also. I'm going to try and take it slow. I'll probably pause every now and again and come back to the recording, because what we're looking at here is this central part of the heavens. And this central part of the heavens is very, very important. This is Aquarius, and we are living in the time of Aquarius. Pisces has just passed, and Aquarius is the time for knowing, the time for standing on your own 2 feet, for taking hold of the serpent, which is also Ophiuchus. In the New Testament, the disciples, those who are disciplined in the knowledge of the heavens, because that's what they were. There were 12 disciples, and they were disciplined in the knowledge of the heavens. They understood how the heavens and how the earth worked together. And those disciples of Jesus, who was a Druid, a high priest, he wasn't a law, he wasn't a supporter of Yud He Vav He, he wasn't a supporter of the law, which we're away to look at now, the polls, the policy holders, the police. He wasn't he was a bar, meaning the son. The Hebrew word bar means son of. He was a bar, son of God. He was a Beni Elohim, the son, an Elohim. But he was not a Christian, obviously, and he did not teach Christianity. What he taught was the heavens, and his disciples, who were disciplined in the knowledge of the heavens, in the deep esoteric, or the ancient knowledge, the hidden knowledge, the ancient knowledge, they came to him and said, "Where shall we have the Passover? The angel of death shall pass over, and where shall we have the Passover?" And Jesus tells them, when you enter the city, which is Aries, the great city of the great king, Aries, the Lamb of God, when you enter the city, look up. You see a man with a water pitcher, and that is Aquarius. The time that they have given us, they've robbed us of at least 1,000 years in our calendars. But the character that we understand as Jesus, Iesus, came probably about 1,000 years ago in the year 1066, 1050, 1040, 1030, around about then, because they have added time to our calendars. But in the time of Aquarius, that was the time of Pisces, and the time of Aquarius has now come. And he says, when you enter the city, the holy city, which is Jerusalem, Edinburgh, look up. You see a man with a water pitcher. Follow him and go into the house which he goes into. And what that is Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus was recognised in January 2013, 212, 213. I can't exactly remember. And Ophiuchus is the strong man, which Iesus also speaks about. You would tie up and bind up the strong man. And you see here that Ophiuchus is the 13th house, the 13th constellation, and he's holding forward the Kundalini, the Naga serpent, not wrestling with the serpent or struggling with the serpent, but he's holding it forward into the ark, to place it into the ark, which is, if you're familiar with my work, which is what the Uday have. He cut us off from the energies, the Naga energies, and here we see Jesus telling us in the time of Aquarius, look up and go into the house, the 13th house. So the 13th house of Ophiuchus. Each of us are born into the houses which move through the ecliptic, which rise above the bar, which are above the dark waters. So none of us are lost at sea. None of us are in the black or in the red. We're all above level. Our heads are all above water. In fact, all this area of Scotland, this area, Ross, means head. All over Scotland, Ross, the word Ross, it means head because Scotland is the head. And we keep our heads above the law, above the water. We are the law. And as long as you keep your head above the water in the house, holding on to your energies, relieving yourself of all the material and practical, perishable wealth and money and fame, and just leaving that behind, it's just nonsense. Don't chase it. Don't give up your your sovereignty for citizenship in order to have anything, because anything that this world offers, if it costs financially, if it costs time, it's not worth it. We have moved into the time of Ophiuchus, the strong man, wrestling the Christ in us, wrestling with, or not wrestling, holding that Kundalini energy in place.